Surprise, I'm back. What am I doing? I don't know. I figure we'll do the direct of Pavel. I am not doing the cross of Pavel, but we can finish the direct. I am not listening to Schoenhorn. Not doing it, folks. Not doing it.
Are we ready to proceed?
Judge, if I may just have a moment with Attorney Shannon.
Oh, no, not a moment already. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that in life and in streaming, I'm a mess. I don't know what's happening.
2 minutes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to cover Pavel's direct. I am not going to cover Pavel's cross. I can't take Schoenhorn. I'll drive straight into the ocean. So we will finish Pavel. Then we will break until 12:30. Hopefully it's done. If it's not done before then we'll just switch over. I have to assume his direct will be over soon, but who knows? Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Janine, Blair, Sheila, Paulie3, Amber, Crystal Clear, Mish, Amy, Catherine, Just Mimi, Mom and Dad, Sally Dowdy, Amy, Carla Mass. Thanks for being here, guys. Who knows what I'm doing? I don't. CH. I think I said Catherine. Babe is here in the chat. Southern Charm, good morning. Again, folks, if you're coming in late, I'm going to cover the direct of Pavel. I am not covering the cross. And no matter what, at 12:30, we're going to the Alaska Brian Smith case. Hey, Mooney. I did get my butter whipped. I finally stopped putting that off.
All right, may I have this mark right now?
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. That was nice. Thank you. 5. Wow, Mia, that's wild. Hey, Jen. Hey, Peter Pan. How many more weeks of this trial? I mean, they were just talking yesterday that the judge is worried it's not going to be done by March 1st. Because freaking Schoenhorn objects to the air. Schoenhorn objects to water being wet. Schoenhorn objects to the earth being round.
And may I just have this mark for ID as well?
Yeah.
I'm prepared to proceed, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We can bring the jury in, please.
You will bring the jury.
Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Charlotte, we're just going to watch the direct until, hopefully, I mean, the continued direct of Pavel.
Yes,
not,
Judge. Yes.
not watching
Good
Schoenhorn.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. We continue with the state's case.
Good morning, Mr. Gimini. Good morning. Mr. Gimini, where we left off yesterday, you had given the seats that were in your Tacoma Ford Focus seats to Sergeant Al Bisson. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
I want to show you some photographs if I could. Judge, I have a disc here which has been pre-marked for identification as State's Exhibit 126. I provided a copy to Attorney Schoenhorn. I believe he does not have an objection, so I would formally move this disc into evidence.
That's correct. Thank you. 126 admitted as full, State's 126.
Yes, sir. Judge, within State's 126, there's a folder entitled Toyota Tacoma,
Good morning, Bree. Good morning, Crystal Clear.
and there's a photograph entitled 335 Tacoma seats. Mr. Gumeni, do you see what's shown in that particular image?
Yes,
And can you just tell the jury what's shown in this image?
those are those two seats that I removed from my Toyota Tacoma.
And can you indicate for the jury there appear to be two seats within the image? Can you indicate for the jury which one was the driver's seat and which one was the passenger seat? If you have to stand up, that's fine.
Do you have pictures from different angle?
We can get them for you, yes, but not currently.
No. I mean, the only way I could tell,
Well, I'm going to object as non-responsive, Your Honor.
There it is.
Well,
There it is.
the last comment from the state was, we can get them, but right now we cannot get those other photos. And the witness was about to say the only way he could tell, and it may be that the witness was about to say the only way he could tell is if there's another angle or another photo showing a different angle. So the objection is overruled.
You can finish your answer, Mr. Gumeni.
I could tell by where the seat belt attachment is on which side of the seat. They're always on the center console side. So if you have a picture from a little different angle.
All right, we'll see what we can do. Now, your recollection, though, was that you believe you took the cover off the driver's seat. Is that correct? And if we could just X out of this photo and pull up the other photograph within this folder.
Reminder to change from top chat to live chat
Mr.
if you're on
Gumeni,
YouTube.
what is that?
That looks like my 2001 Tacoma.
And how do you know it's your 2001 Tacoma?
The color, the type of the truck, and the most noticeable thing is the snowplow mount.
And I'm just going to ask if you could stand up and just show the jury the snowplow mount that you speak of.
It's this and the water line.
Okay, so I just want the record to reflect, Mr. Gumeni, you just, with your left index finger, pointed to an area just below the license plate in the photograph, and your finger went from right to left along the center of the photograph underneath. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you pointed out an additional item above that particular.
Oh shit! Patches becoming a bow. Welcome to the bows. Patches.
We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna wrestle around.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Item to the right of the license plate in this photo. What is that?
That's a wiring harness that controls the plow.
Did your Toyota Tacoma also have chrome running boards?
Yes.
And where were they located on the vehicle?
Underneath the driver and passenger side doors.
Mr. Gumini, you mentioned yesterday on direct examination that you went with Mr. Doulos to 80 Mountain Spring Road as he was driving your Tacoma there. Is that correct?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that you don't recall the exact date of that?
Yes.
How many times did you do that with Mr. Doulos?
Just one.
Judge, I'm going to ask that we pull up in the photograph or in the folder entitled States Exhibit 81. There's a photograph 77 Mountain Spring Road surveillance.
Oh,
5/23/19.
Mandy Joe coming in hot, gifting a membership to Irene. Thank you so much, Mandy. You're the best. By the way, Mandy made a new emoji that I'm going to be adding.
We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna.
Mandy's the emoji queen. She made a new one of the hand for the indigenous women. We'll be adding that to our emojis. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Thank you so much, Mandy.
And within there is a clip entitled 23/4:57 p.m. Just going to ask if we can play that. Mr. Gumini, can you look at the clip behind you? Mr. Gumini, did you recognize any of the vehicles in that clip?
Yes. This is my Tacoma and Doulos is Ford Raptor.
And who was driving the Tacoma in this footage?
Ford is Doulos.
And who was driving the Raptor?
I did.
And where did the two of you go?
To 80 Mountain Spring Road.
And just so the record is clear, both vehicles make a left off of Mountain Spring Road into the driveway of 80 Mountain Spring Road. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I believe you indicated that Mr. Doulos backed in to 80 Mountain Spring Road. Is that?
He pulled in and turned around so the truck was ready to leave.
How long were you at 80 Mountain Spring Road for with Mr. Doulos during that trip?
We left the truck and we went back, I believe.
And Judge, I should have indicated this, but the record should reflect that the timestamp on this video is a day and 10 minutes fast. So this is actually May 23rd, 2019 at 4:57 p.m. and 34 seconds.
Thank you.
So I'd like to play another clip for you if I could. And just for the record, the clip is in that same folder entitled 23/5:01 p.m. 77 MSR. I'm just going to ask that you watch that clip.
Yes, that looks like.
Okay, so just gonna, if the record could reflect that the actual time is May 23rd, 2019 at 5 o'clock p.m. and 45 seconds. Mr. Gumini, did you recognize any vehicles in that clip?
Yes, the black Ford Raptor.
And would this have been after the Tacoma was dropped off?
Yes,
Do you recall who was driving the Raptor at this point?
I don't.
If I could have a state's exhibit. record, I'm holding State's Exhibit 88, which has already been admitted into evidence.
I can't hear now.
Yes.
All right, if you refresh your stream, there it is. Let me add it to Kick Now, too. Thank you so much again, Mandy.
I'm sorry, Aaron, if I could just have one moment. Mr. Gumini, were you driving your Toyota Tacoma on the morning of May 24th, 2019?
No,
As far as you knew, where was your Toyota Tacoma located?
at 80 Mountain Spring Road.
Now, I want you to just look at this photograph behind you. Does this vehicle appear to be consistent with your Toyota Tacoma?
Yes, the crumbing boards look like the rims.
And there appears to be an object in the bed of the vehicle. Did you, when you dropped your Toyota Tacoma off at Fort Jefferson Crossing, in other words, the last time you had possessed it prior to taking it back on the 24th, was there anything in the bed of your vehicle?
Other than like bungee cords and tie-down straps that I use for tie-down dirt bike. They
So
should not be.
Nothing that resembled this object here, correct?
No.
Okay, and just for the record, I'm pointing to an object in the bed of the vehicle at this point. Turning 88. Just if you show me how to do it.
If you can go to
You can leave it off because I'm going to use it again.
yeah, it blocks. It blocks the view. So you want to go back to the computer, which is 4.
I can speed this up a little since we're behind.
Mr. Gumini, you also indicated that you stopped at a gas station on May 24, 2019, correct?
Yes.
Which gas station did you stop at?
I believe the name it's Babu Mobile or something like that. It's across the street from Yukon.
Sending a little love to Jay and Shan. Great job covering many current trials.
Wow, Rabbit, $10. Thank you so much. That was so kind, Rabbit. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
What vehicle were you driving when you stopped at the gas station?
Ford Raptor
And how did you pay for the gas?
with American Express.
Who's American Express card?
It belonged to Ford, but it was under my name.
And so, because this was a business expense, did you hang on to the receipt?
Yes.
And I'm displaying within State's Exhibit 126, there is a image entitled Babu Mobile Receipt 52419. Mr. Gumini, is this a photograph of the receipt that you got from the mobile gas station on May 24, 2019?
Yes.
And could you indicate for the jury how many gallons were purchased?
It looks like 22.6.
And is that more gallons than the Toyota Tacoma can take?
Yes, Toyota Tacoma dry empty tank won't take more than 17 gallons, if I'm not mistaken.
You testified yesterday on direct examination that after getting to Fort Jefferson Crossing in the afternoon on the 24th, you went to 585 Deer Cliff to pick up a 2x10 plank for your dirt bike before you went to 80 Mountain. Do you recall that?
Yes.
I have here what has been pre-marked for identification as State's Exhibit 125. This is a still shot from residential surveillance footage, Your Honor. I showed it to Attorney Shannon. No objection.
Objection.
I move it in, Your Honor.
States 125 admitted as full.
Mr. Gumini, I'm just going to ask that you look at this photograph. The timestamp indicates May 25th, 2019 at 5:08 and 54 seconds p.m. The actual time is May 24th, 2019 at 4:58 and 54 seconds p.m. And I'm just going to ask if you can look at this still shot and tell us what you see in the still shot with respect to any vehicles.
It looks like a Ford Raptor that I was driving that day, with looks like a 2x10 sticking out of back cargo area.
Judge, because of the small nature of this photograph, is it all right if I publish this to the jury by just passing it around?
Yeah.
And just for the record, Mr. Gumini, can you point out where the object is, the plank?
It's right on the back of the truck.
We're back to live, folks. I added all 3 emojis that Mandy made to Kick. Unfortunately, I'm limited on how many emojis I can add to YouTube until we get more members. So all 3, the hand is now on YouTube, and all 3 emojis that Mandy made for missing and murdered Indigenous women are on the Kick machine. And thanks for being here, everyone, for this second unplanned stream today. We'll definitely be doing the planned one at 12:30, Alaska versus Brian Smith. Hopefully they figure out the audio, the jabronis over there. Oh, also, I made a prompt. Hopefully this
And
works.
can you just tell us again why you took the plank to 80 Mountain Spring Road?
I took the plank because I just wanted to load the dirt bike on the back of the, try to load the dirt bike on the back of the Raptor. And as I was leaving 585 Deercliff, I thought of stopping by 80 Mountain Spring to see if the key is in my truck or Doulos might be there.
Going to show some additional residential surveillance footage at this time. Within States Exhibit 126, there's a folder entitled States Exhibit 81. And we're going to open the folder entitled 77 Mountain Spring Road Surveillance Footage 5/24/19. And we're going to begin with the first clip, which is 24/16:58 p.m. I'm going to ask that you turn around and just watch this clip. Mr. Gumini, what was shown in that clip?
It looks like me driving the Raptor to 80 Mountain Spring Road.
And approximately how long were you at 80 Mountain Spring Road the first time when you walked around the property with Mr. Doulos?
Can't recall it exactly. I want to say around 10 minutes.
And as you were leaving, did Mr. Doulos and the defendant leave also?
I'm assuming. I don't remember seeing them in the mirror following me on the road.
And do you know what vehicles they were driving?
There was white Jeep Cherokee and black Suburban.
I'm just going to play another clip. The next clip is entitled 24/17:02 p.m. We can pause it there. We pause the video, Your Honor, at 19 seconds. Mr. Gumini, can you just indicate to the jury what we just saw?
It looks like it's me interrupter leaving 80 Mount Spring Road.
Okay, if we can continue to play the clip.
Dogs
We
inside.
can pause it there. Mr. Gumini, I believe you indicated that there was a white Cherokee and a black Suburban at 80 Mountain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do those appear to be depicted in this particular clip that we've now paused at
Yes.
40 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, we can keep playing. Incidentally, in that particular clip, the vehicles are heading left on the screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that headed back towards 4 Jefferson Crossing and 585 Deer Cliff Road?
That's correct.
I want to open up another folder if I could. And if we can open up the folder entitled Photos of 80 Mountain Spring Road, and specifically the second file, the 80 Mountain Spring Road aerial view. Mr. Gumini, I'm just going to ask that you look at this aerial view photograph and tell me if you recognize the area.
Yes, I do.
And can you tell the jury what area this is?
Property to the right of the main road, it's 18 Mountain Spring Road. And
Sorry, go ahead.
the property to the left, it's 77 Mountain Spring Road.
And can you just stand up and indicate to the jury when you first encountered Mr. Doulos and the defendant on this property on May 24, 2019, where you drove and where everybody was? Can you just stand up and show them?
So I came down this road, and I drove in here, and I went through someplace.
Okay, so I just want the record to reflect that your right index
I'm
finger.
sorry, could Mr. McGinnis stand so I'm able to see? He's blocking my view, please. Thank you.
I just want the record to reflect that your right index finger went down on the photograph on 80 Mountain Spring Road until you reached the driveway of 80 Mountain Spring Road, and then you took your index finger and you brought it up the driveway. Is that correct?
Yes.
And can you just point out to the jury where the vehicles were parked in this particular photograph?
The trailer was parked somewhere around here.
And you're indicating with your right pinky finger the area located behind the house that appears to be a driveway. Is that correct?
Yes.
Approximately how far from the road is this particular area that you just pointed to?
Don't know, I want to say 300 feet.
If you're standing on the road, can you see the back of the house?
The back of the garage is
Yeah, the back of the garages. If you're standing in front of 80 Mountain Spring Road, can you see the back? You cannot, correct? Thank you, sir. And just going to pull up the next photograph in that folder entitled 80 Mountain Spring Road Garage View. Mr. Gumini, could you just indicate for the jury while you're standing there perhaps where the vehicles were parked if they're shown in this photograph and where Mr. Doulos and the defendant were standing when you first arrived?
So the other car was parked somewhere in here.
And you're making a circular motion with your right pinky finger in the bottom right-hand corner of the photograph, correct?
Yes. The Raptor is parked somewhere near.
You're making a circular motion in the right center of the photograph, is that correct?
Yes.
At the bottom? Okay.
I believe the Chevy Suburban was parked here, and then the Jeep was.
Okay, so you're indicating that the Chevy Suburban was parked in front of the center bay of the garage, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and where was the Jeep parked?
It was kind of like turning behind the home.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. And I believe you indicated that at some point you and Mr. Doulos returned to 80 Mountain Spring Road, is that correct?
Yes.
Which vehicle did you return in?
And the Raptor.
I'm just going to play some additional residential surveillance footage. From folder states 81, subfolder 52419. And I think that's it. Playing 17:14 p.m. So again, I've neglected to do this a couple times, but again, the date timestamp is a day and 10 minutes fast. Mr. Gimini, what was shown in that particular clip?
It looks like me and Doulos driving back to 8 Mountain Spring Road.
And I believe you indicated that this is when you were told by Mr. Doulos that the defendant had the keys to your Tacoma, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that the defendant returned to 80 Mountain Spring Road.
Correct.
Do you recall which vehicle she returned in?
Can you repeat that?
Do you recall which vehicle she returned in?
Your Honor, this has all been asked and answered yesterday.
What's foundational for the clip that I'm going to play, Judge?
Well, quite frankly, the routes taken between 4 Jefferson Crossing, 80 Mountain Spring Road, 585 Deerfield are not easy to remember. So even if those routes were mentioned yesterday, the court is going to allow it.
So my question was, do you recall which vehicle she arrived in?
I don't.
Just going to play the next clip, which is a clip entitled 77 MSR 52419, 523 50 seconds PM through 524 and 13 seconds PM. Mr. Gumini, did you recognize any vehicles in that clip?
Yes, it looks like black Suburban
How do you know that?
that belongs to Doulos. I recognize the Turo box on top of the car.
Does that refresh your memory at all as to what vehicle she arrived in?
It must be that, but I didn't see her driving it.
And I'm just going to play a clip now. All three of you then left the property again. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is 77 MSR 52419, 53700 through 53815. Mr. Gumini, can you just tell us what was shown in that clip?
It looks like the black Suburban left the property, followed by red Tacoma and black Raptor.
Who was driving the Tacoma at this point?
I did.
You also testified yesterday that at a certain point you loaded your dirt bike onto the bed of your Tacoma. Is that correct?
Yes.
And where did you do that?
At 585 Dirkers.
Opening a folder entitled States Exhibit 123. This is a still shot entitled 5/24/19 at 17:57:39. And if we could just zoom towards the vehicle. Mr. Gumini, I'm going to ask that you stand up. Do you recognize the vehicle in this still shot?
Yes.
And can you just tell the jury whose vehicle this is?
It looks like my Toyota Tacoma,
And do you recognize anything in the bed of the Tacoma?
the dirt bike, and the 2x10.
And did the dirt bike take up a substantial amount of room in the bed of your vehicle?
Yes.
Did you know that this surveillance footage existed?
No.
You could have a seat, Mr. Gumini. And if I could just have a moment, Ron?
Yes.
Oh man, I hope this is his moment to say he's done, because I am not watching the cross, folks. If you want to watch the cross of Schoenhorn, who objects to water being
May I
wet,
have an exhibit mark for identification?
shit, he's still okay. I will be back at 12:30 for Alaska versus Brian Smith. Good morning, Ann.
Showing
Hey, Carrie,
Sean
28.
Morris from Pre-Mark for identification of States Exhibit 127.
Blair holding down the kick machine. Thanks, Blair. You drink ginger ale? What does that mean, Donnie? Good morning, Debbie. Yeah, you're just Mimi's not kidding. Sadly, he was a dedicated employee, and his employer was trying to frame him for murder. It's true.
I think this can come in absent objection. Your Honor, states 127.
States 127 admitted as full.
Mr. Gumini, do you recall being asked questions in August of 2019 about a bicycle that Mr. Dulos owned?
Yes.
And do you recall being shown photographs of the garage at 4 Jefferson Crossing that were taken after May 24th, 2019?
I believe so, yes.
Just going to hand you what's been entered into evidence as States Exhibit 127 and ask that you just familiarize yourself with that. Where would Mr. You had mentioned that Mr. Dulos had an older French model bicycle, correct?
Yes.
Where would he ordinarily keep that bicycle?
I remember it was hanging on one of the hooks in the garage. I'm not sure which one it was.
Do you see it in this photo?
Could it be the one up on the top?
Do you remember being shown this photograph previously and indicating it was not in the photo?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
You've previously been shown that photograph by police, correct?
Yes.
And did you tell them that the bicycle, the French model bicycle, was not in that particular photograph?
Yes.
Just going to publish this.
The fuck? Ooh, look at this fancy screensaver. Get your shit together, prosecution. What are you doing? Get dog on the Elmo.
Yeah, power's on. You know, Judge, I'm not going to belabor this point. I have nothing further.
Oh!
Attorney Schoenhorn.
This fucking guy. Here we go. I'll probably take this to like 11. I don't even know if I'm gonna take it to 11. Let me see how quickly this guy pisses me off, and then I'll end this, and I'll be back at 12:30 for the Alaska case. Ain't nothing this guy can say that's gonna make me convinced that Michelle wasn't involved. Hello, Rebecca. Thanks for being here. Oh, Donnie wants me to play his video clip. Donnie, if you want me to, I'm going to make this very clear, Donnie. If you want me to play the video clip you sent me, number one, you have to understand I can't respond to every email you send. Number two, I can't play every video or that you send. Is that, do we get that, Donnie? You were giving me a stroke yesterday trying to get me to open this email as I'm trying to handle 6 streams and... Okay, deal. All right. Let me try to pull up this video. Who wants to see Donnie or hear Donnie? This is Donnie in a stressed voice. All right, let me see if I figured out how to do this. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, all right. I feel like it's going to be the full screen, and I don't want that, but here we go. Let's see if this works.
Got him.
Oh, wait. Nope. Hold on.
Finally.
How do I... No, wait.
Now they'll believe me.
Hold on.
Got him.
Bring to front. No, that's
Finally.
not what I wanted. Hold on. It's in the back
Now
now.
they'll believe me.
Hold on. How do I pause this? Now I can't even pause it. Hold on.
Finally.
Son of a... Here we go.
Now they'll believe me.
This is Donnie's...
Got him. Finally. Now they'll believe me. Got him. Finally.
Guys, this is what Donnie was like spamming me about in chat that I had to show everyone. That's Donnie's voice, everybody.
Now they'll believe me. Got him. Finally. Now they'll believe me.
All right. All right. Hold on. Now I messed up my whole stream now. Is this it? No, that's not it. Oh, son of a bitch. Hold on. Is this it? No, that's not it. Oh, I ruined the whole... There we go. Is that the right one? No. Is this it? There we go.
begin with what was talked about yesterday. You were given in December of this past year, so like a month and a half ago, written immunity from prosecution, correct?
Yes.
And this was something that was negotiated between you, your lawyer, and the current state's attorney, correct?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
You were involved in the decision to give you immunity, correct?
Yes.
You understand that immunity means you can't be prosecuted for anything that you did which might have been a crime, correct?
Yes.
And it was signed, this exhibit 124, which was entered yesterday, was signed by the state's attorney for this judicial district, correct?
Yes.
But you also were under the understanding that there was, as it says here, a verbal, oral immunity that was given to you by the former state's attorney, correct?
Yes.
And it says right here that your lawyer, that's Lindy Urzo, correct? Right?
Correct.
Informed the state's attorney's office of his belief that Pavel Gumieni had relied on representations made on or about June 2019 by Richard Colangelo Jr., then state's attorney for the judicial district of Stamford, Norwalk, that Pavel Gumieni may not be charged with the crime of hindering prosecution if he cooperated with the investigation and prosecution of others in connection with the disappearance, etc., of Jennifer Doulos, correct?
Correct.
And that was your understanding when you were talking to the police in June of 2019, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. What I just read to you was your understanding back in June of 2019, correct?
Well, I'm going to object, Your Honor. I think we need a tighter time frame than just June of 2019.
That's all it says is June 2019. How can it be more time specific than that?
Well, the question that would appear to be the most clear is at the time you entered into the, or were told that you would be granted immunity, what was your understanding? That would appear to be the clearer question, but you may ask your question again.
Sure. I just read you what was in this agreement issued by the state's attorney, correct?
Correct.
And was it that your understanding when you were talking to the police back in June of 2019?
Yeah, it was just not written down. So when I spoke with my attorney, he told me it's a verbal agreement. It's not nothing
in writing.
Nothing in writing. So it could be.
But you were.
Oh wow, Brooklyn, the amazing Brooklyn, just sent a $25 on Venmo for shits and giggles. Brooklyn, you're the best. Thanks so much for all you do modding. You rock. Thank you so much, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, so Brooklyn.
We're told that that would count. It's verbal though, right?
Yes.
When you yesterday testified about comments that you recall having and hearing from my client, Michelle Troconis, one after the disappearance and one before, the first time you mentioned that to the state's attorney's office was in January of 2024, correct?
Correct.
That was after the written grant of immunity had been given to you, correct?
Correct.
Now, did this revelation about these conversations didn't suddenly come to you, did they, in around Christmas of this year, this past Christmas? They didn't just suddenly come to your mind that you had forgotten to mention it, did you?
Compound, argumentative.
Oh man, and then following up to that, I got a $20 Cash App from Katrina Hetherington. Thank you so much, Katrina. She's been so supportive since she joined the Bows and with us. Katrina, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, this is cross-examination. So the question is essentially.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. So this didn't just come to you after close to 5 years, did it?
Did it?
You hadn't remembered it for almost 5 years and then remembered it after this agreement was granted in December, correct?
I met with the prosecutors sometimes around that time, and they asked me if there's anything else that comes to your memory.
Yeah. And you didn't tell them it then, did you?
No, I didn't.
No. You got a call after your lawyer called the state's attorney's office to tell them, oh, you had something you wanted to add. Isn't that correct? Right after the New Year's?
I don't recall if it was right after New Year's, but yes.
January 4th? Does that sound about right?
Yes.
And as I understand your statement, and I want to get this correct, you didn't give this most recent statement recorded, right? They didn't videotape that or audio tape it, did they?
No,
You didn't give it to them in writing either, did you?
I don't believe so, no.
But as I understand your statement, let's talk about the statement after Jennifer Doulos' disappearance. This conversation occurred on the Tuesday after, the first day back to work, correct?
Yes,
And this would be the same day that Mr. Doulos trying to get you to write out where you were on that Friday, correct?
correct.
And at some point, as I understand your testimony yesterday, you said that Mr. Troconis was looking for a wheelbarrow to move firewood, correct?
Correct.
So I just want to be clear, had you helped her move firewood before to the porch, to the house?
I don't recall it.
You know that they would use the fireplace, correct?
Yes,
And that there was firewood that would be stacked up on that outside back porch?
I don't recall it.
Well, you said that you were taking firewood from a shed,
Yes,
right? Did you ever help gather any of that firewood?
that was the first time I helped Michelle.
The first time you helped Michelle, but had you helped put firewood in that shed before?
In the shed?
Yeah,
Yes,
because that was the firewood that was used in the fireplace in the house, correct?
I believe so.
And this would be while you were getting the wheelbarrow or while you were getting the firewood that you had this conversation?
What do you mean by this?
The one about after the disappearance where you testified yesterday about the firewood and the wheelbarrow. Was it getting the firewood itself or just getting the wheelbarrow to put firewood in?
Bro, what are you talking
He was
about?
getting the firewood from the woodshed and putting it on the back porch.
And she was with you at this point, right?
Yes,
And you testified she was upset, correct? She was very upset, right?
yes,
And she was telling you that her face and her daughter's face was all over the internet, correct?
correct.
Her daughter was 12 years old at the time, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And there they were being connected to the disappearance of Mrs. Doulos, correct?
Correct.
By all this internet stuff, correct?
Correct.
And she was upset about that, right? Right?
Yes,
And you knew there was a lot of publicity about this, right?
yes,
In fact, you had searched a lot of it online over the weekend, correct?
correct.
You told the police you had been looking at all the news stories about it, right?
I don't recall telling them,
But you at least tell us today you did search and see all these stories about it, right? And trying to connect at that point Fotis Doulos to the disappearance, right?
at that point, no.
Well, it was mentioning him about the divorce and everything, wasn't it?
Wait, I object to the question. I thought he was asking Mr. Gumini whether or not Mr. Gumini was trying to make a connection. Is he talking about?
Court
Oh,
understands-
if
well,
I thought
the
that.
court understands the question to be, what did you read from those news reports?
Yes.
I don't recall it at that time. Over that weekend, what was on the news already.
The point being that both Mr. Doulos' name and my client's name were being connected to stories about the disappearance, correct?
Possible.
And she was upset about the fact, particularly, that her daughter was being blasted on the social media and the internet, correct?
I didn't see her daughter on the media, but that's what she said, yes.
Okay. And what she said to you was, you told this to the inspectors last month, was that she is, that, let's put the profanity aside for a minute, but referring to Ms. Doulos, that she was playing games, right? Correct?
Yes.
She said she is playing games, right? Her picture and my picture on the internet, right?
Yes,
And then she said, I'm going to kill that bee when she turns up. Isn't that what she said to you?
yes.
And you thought the same thing at that time, didn't you?
I'm just going to object, Your Honor, relevance.
Well, the question is a bit confusing. You thought the same thing about what?
I'll rephrase. You thought she might turn up, Ms. Doulos, didn't you, at that point?
Yes,
You believed Mr. Doulos when he had said that, she may have just disappeared and run away, correct?
yes,
And he told you she had done it before, right?
yes,
And I take it also, though, that based on your testimony from yesterday, you had at least a friendly relationship with Mrs. Doulos, particularly when she was living in Farmington, correct?
correct.
You actually helped her, according to your testimony, move her stuff down, you said, to Pound Ridge, right?
Correct.
And for the record, where is Pound Ridge?
I'm not sure. I think it's New York.
But it's near Fairfield County, right? It's over the border somewhere.
I don't recall it.
Did you actually physically move her belongings to a house at Pound Ridge?
Yes.
In your truck?
Don't remember which vehicle.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember which vehicle.
All right. But you made multiple trips for her, didn't you?
Correct.
When she was moving out of the house, you were moving things down to a house she was either owned or was renting in Pound Ridge, New York, right?
That was house that was, that her family owned.
Oh, it was a family-owned house. Okay. That's correct?
Correct.
You didn't tell Mr. Doulos that you were helping Jennifer Doulos move, did you?
No.
You wanted to keep that kind of confidential, I think.
I don't recall it.
Now, the other thing that you said is around Greek Easter, there was an incident involving a conversation you had with Michelle Troconis around the illness of the dog, right?
Right.
Now, I just want to be clear about one thing. Mr. Doulos was very upset about his dog getting very, very ill, right?
Correct.
This was a Labrador Golden Lab that had been owned by the family for many years, correct?
Correct.
You probably, I don't know if you know, but did you know the dog the entire time you worked for Mr. Doulos?
Can you explain the question?
Yeah, had you seen the dog at the house the entire time you were working for the Ford Group?
Yes.
And was the dog there when the children were little?
Yes.
Was it a friend?
Did you pet it? Did you call it good boy? Did you speak in like a different voice with the dog? Did you tell it to sit? This fucking guy.
Friendly dog?
Very.
Did you ever play with it or pet it or anything?
It was always sitting under my desk in the office.
It was always in the office.
Yes.
So even after Mrs. Doulos moved out, that dog was kind of attached to Mr. Doulos and the staff, right?
Yes.
Did you ever walk the dog or go out and play with it?
Possible.
And you saw that it was getting sick, right?
Yes.
Now, I want to be clear about one thing. You're the one that took, the name of the dog is Beckham, right?
Correct.
And the reason that you took Beckham to the vet, correct?
Correct.
Because there was, whatever was wrong with them, they needed to do blood work and stuff, right?
I don't remember what was wrong, but I did take him to the vet.
Do you recall, though, that you went with Miss Troconis' father, Carlos, to the vet?
I don't recall it.
You don't recall having a conversation with Fotis that because Miss Carlos was a doctor, it might be better for him to accompany you to the vet? He would learn more or know more? Does that ring a bell?
I don't recall that, no.
You don't recall that. Okay. In any event, were you in the room when the vet said that, the dog is dying and something needs to be done?
This fucking guy, I mean, I could be wrong, but is he going down the route that this was such a loved dog? This was such a great dog that fucking Michelle should have said that Jennifer should be in the ground next to the dog? Sir, I'm coming down to Connecticut. I'm making a citizen's arrest. I'm so fucking sick of this guy.
Was I in the room?
When the veterinarian said that.
I don't recall it.
You had a conversation, though, with Mr. Doulos about the fact they had to now euthanize the dog. You know what that means?
Yes.
You were so you know what it means. So my next question is, were you in the conversation with?
What other relevance could this questioning has? Where else could he be going with this questioning? I guess we'll see. Let's see.
Mr. Doulos, when he said he had to euthanize the dog.
At Fort Jefferson, not at the vet.
Oh, no, I didn't. Back at Fort Jefferson, right?
Yes.
And he was very upset about that, wasn't he?
Fine.
Very
He was
sad.
upset. Who
And
cares?
what you said yesterday is, as I understood it, is Mr. Doulos wanted to allow the children to see their dog one more time before it had to be put to sleep, correct?
Correct.
And he was upset because his wife said no, right?
Yes.
Your testimony from yesterday also, as I understand it, was that when he said that and he talked about how upset he was, you said that my client said something with profanity that she should be, I want to get it correct here. That bitch should be buried next to the dog. That's your testimony, right?
Correct.
And you said that it was an effort, you saw it as an effort for Miss Troconis to cheer up Fotis, right?
That's how I understood.
So like as a joke, right? A sick joke, but still a joke, right?
I wouldn't call it a joke, but yeah.
Well, you're cheering somebody up with some humor, right?
Not that kind of humor, but yeah.
Okay. Now, it's your testimony that she used the profanity in this conversation. Is it your testimony that Michelle often used profanity, swear words in English in her conversations around you?
I don't recall it.
Ever before, right?
She might, but I don't recall it.
Okay. So sometime over the weekend of Memorial Day, you found out that Jennifer was missing, right?
I'm just going to pause this and say
Yes.
there's
that was
no
on the-
fucking way that you can spin that in a way that's not going to make the jury think that she's a piece of trash for saying that she wished the woman who is now missing and pronounced dead, this fucking defendant said Jennifer Doulos would be better in the ground next to the dog. Fuck this guy. Fuck Michelle Troconis. End this trial right now. Get her in jail. This is some bullshit. And fuck this Schoenhorn. I know defense attorneys have a job. I get it. They have to defend their client. This guy fucking sucks at it, and I don't like him.
Weekend, that would have been on the Sunday, I believe you testified. You found it out?
I believe so, yes.
And you received a phone call from Fotis Doulos in the afternoon where he told you that his wife was missing, correct?
Correct.
But you also had a conversation that you would not be back to work until Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, correct?
Correct.
On that Sunday is when you started searching about the missing wife of Fotis Doulos. Isn't that correct?
I don't recall it, but if it's in my phone search history, I don't deny it.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking is the police, in fact, in one of the interviews said to you that they had your phone data, correct?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. The police in one of their interviews in June or July of 2019 told you that after they seized your phone, they were downloading the data from it. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And one of the things that they told you was that you were searching about the disappearance. Does that ring a bell?
Possible, yes.
So it was at least something of interest to you to see how much news media coverage there was, right?
I wouldn't say how much news coverage was it. Like, I could have seen it on TV or something and starts researching it.
You were curious about the investigation, weren't you?
I was curious about what's going on.
But as you said multiple times yesterday, you were certain that at that time that Fotis Doulos had nothing to do with it, right?
Right.
And I also just want to be clear, you weren't sure which day you saw my client and Mr. Doulos in the kitchen you remember testifying yesterday about Mr. Lewis wanting to write down where you were on Friday? Remember that?
Object, misstates the testimony, Judge.
Well, of course, what was said yesterday is not as fresh as what is said today. So the court is going to allow the question.
Can you repeat the question?
Do you remember testifying yesterday that there was a time when you went into the kitchen after Memorial Day and you saw Fotis Doulos and my client there?
Yes.
Mr. Doulos at that time had told you that the police had taken his phone away the previous Saturday, right?
He didn't tell me when, but he told me that his phone was taken away, yes.
And that's why he asked if he could look through your phone to see what time you had called him and what time you had texted him and things like that, right?
He asked me, yes, he asked me if I was calling him, and then I started looking in the phone, and he asked me if he can see my phone.
And you, according to what you told the police, it was to see if the times could be defined, correct? Pinpointed.
Possible.
This also was not the day that your Tacoma was brought to the car wash, correct?
I'm not sure if that was the same day in the afternoon. You're talking about Tuesday now, right?
Yeah.
Or the next day?
Well, that's what I'm asking. It wasn't the time when you came back and saw that your car in the afternoon had been washed and cleaned was not the same day as this conversation in the kitchen about the writing down what you did on Friday and looking at your phone, correct?
I'm not sure if that was the same day or not.
You went down to New Canaan that Tuesday?
I don't
Which
recall it.
Tuesday?
The day after Memorial Day?
I don't recall it.
Didn't you say yesterday that when you you stopped into the office before going down to New Canaan?
Yes.
All right, so that refreshes your
Yes,
recollection from
yes,
yesterday, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And you were down in New Canaan that Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, with which vehicle?
I believe white Jeep Cherokee.
You had had your Tacoma all weekend long, right?
Correct.
We just saw minutes ago an image of your Tacoma with the, you called it the dirt bike in the back of that vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Now, I want to be clear about this. You keep calling this a dirt bike, but it was actually a motocross motorcycle, right?
What's the
This is
fucking
what it's called
difference?
among dirt bike riders. This is what it's called. It's called dirt bike.
All right. But this is a registered motor vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't register it, though, did you?
No.
In fact, you were supposed to pay Mr. Troconis to buy that motorcycle. Isn't that right?
No.
You were not.
I paid Mr. Doulos for that motorcycle.
You knew it was my client's motorcycle, though, didn't you?
Yes.
You never paid her anything, right?
Oh, arrest
Correct.
him now.
You never got any title
Take him out
for
in
it, did
cuffs. Take him out.
Yes, correct.
you? That's correct.
He didn't
right?
register the dirt bike.
But in fact,
he called
after
it a dirt bike.
Mr.
Arrest
Troconis
this
had to
man.
move out of Fort Jefferson Crossing, she asked for it back, right?
Relevance? What's the relevance?
I don't recall when she asked for it back.
Well, it was after I was her lawyer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because you remember meeting me to return the bike at a parking lot in Avon, correct?
I didn't meet you. I saw you.
Okay.
This fucking guy, man. Had it with him. Tell you this, though, he's not shaking
How long
Pavel
did this
here. Pavel's standing his
interaction with
ground.
Mr. Doulos in the kitchen take place before you went down to New Canaan on that Tuesday after Memorial Day?
I don't recall it.
An hour?
Possible.
As you already testified, you didn't need to keep track of your time, did you?
You know, Shelley points out that the prosecution never objects and the judge has to do it for him. And I'm just curious if that's just like a strategy because they know they're watching the jury who's probably pissed off by him already. I'm just curious if that's a strategic to just let him piss off the jury more and more. Guys, if we're pissed, I guarantee the jury's pissed.
Yes.
I'm correct about that? You didn't
Yes.
have to, you didn't punch a clock, right?
Correct.
You didn't have to write down your hours, right?
Correct.
So you came and went, as long as the job got done, Doulos was happy, and the foregroup got its projects done on time, right?
Correct.
You testified that Mr. Doulos was trying to get you to write down what you did on Friday, but you said, I know what I did. I don't need to write it down. Remember saying that?
Not exact the words that you said, but
Well, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not using your exact words. I would have to order a transcript. But am I correct that that was the scenario? Yes, what you said yesterday?
correct.
And Mr. Doulos was being kind of pushy about it, right?
I believe he said that was a suggestion of his lawyer.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. You knew he had more than one lawyer, right?
At that time, I didn't know he had any lawyers. I mean, that was the first time I heard that he has a lawyer.
Well, didn't you testify that whenever he was meeting with his lawyer that he would ask that, you not come in or that you do this, that he meet privately with the lawyer?
That was divorce lawyer, I believe.
That's the divorce lawyer. But did you also know that the Farber family, that is Jennifer's family, was suing the foregroup?
I don't recall it if I knew about that at that time.
You did not know.
I don't recall it.
Okay. So all you knew was that he was meeting with a lawyer, right?
I believe he told me divorce lawyer.
That's what you believe. Did you know who Kent Mawhinney was?
I never
boy.
met Ken Moe.
Do you know who he was?
Do I know now who he was?
No. Did you know then who he was?
I don't believe so, no. I never met Kent Moe.
So you didn't know Mr. Mawhinney was one of Mr. Doulos' lawyers back then?
I remember prior to 2016, when I was applying for my green card, he mentioned someone to me, but I'm not sure if that was Kent Moe. He mentioned some lawyer that he was helping him or his mom with obtaining legal status in this country. So it's possible that's when I heard of Kent Moe.
All of these conversations that we're now talking about, this was before you replaced the seats in your Tacoma, right?
Correct.
And it was before Mr. Doulos asked you to replace those seats, isn't it? True.
It is.
About 11:15, we'll stand in our morning recess. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not discuss the case.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for being here. No more surprise streams. I think Pavel is standing up well to Sean Moron, Sean Dingus. I think he's holding up well. I think he's telling the truth, so I don't think he can be really tripped up, but what do I know? All right, guys, in 1 hour and 15 minutes, this will portal us to Alaska versus Brian Smith. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for being here now. I appreciate it. That case is pretty wild. Hopefully they fix the audio. So we'll be back at 12:30 Eastern. Alaska versus Brian Smith in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, mods. And I'll catch you in an hour and 15 minutes, I hope. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.